It's finally Saturday. As with last week, I'd normally question why I'm up so early on a weekend, but I actually have reason to be up. Today marks my first actual date with Monica. Some people would probably say the time we had at the cafe last weekend would count as a date. It was more of a last-minute decision than anything else. More of a last-minute decision? Plus, until she went to confess, I had no idea that Monica even liked me that way. Sure, there were definitely points where that thought had come into my head, but nothing to actually confirm that. Where? Well, before her confession, that is. I quickly checked my phone as I get out of bed. 7:07 a.m. I should have enough time to wash myself before Monica gets here, whenever that is. She was a little vague with when she was going to come over. I don't spend too long in the shower and soon return to my room to get dressed. I opted to go for a pair of blue jeans and a black shirt. During our lengthy texting session yesterday, Monica said that I didn't need to overdress today. Despite her saying that, I'm still quite nervous. In face, my anxiety is showing through the roof. Shooting. No, I read this one wrong, but this one is supposed to be fact. Today, though, that roof must be in another dimension. I end up waiting for just under an hour and a half until I eventually hear the doorbell ring. I immediately shoot up to answer it, but am immediately stopped as Mum opens the door. Immediately, twice now, huh?
Hi, is Hallie there? He is, yeah. You must be Monica, right? That's me!
Wait, did I read one of... No, okay. I don't know why I saw this as Mum. I guess I'm losing my marbles, man. I'm just going completely insane. I find myself smiling as I decide to head downstairs. Oh, our mom is missing. Thankfully, it looks like the pair of them are getting along quite nicely. Admittedly, there was a part of me that was worried about if they didn't get along, but in all seriousness, why wouldn't they? I mean, Mom got on well with Sayori whenever she'd come around. Not only that, but she'd been quite eager to meet Monica since I had mentioned her. It almost feels as if those nerves were just there to fuck with me. It's not long until the pair of them notice me.
Honestly, Hallie, I'm surprised you didn't invite Monica over sooner.
Mum beams at me, quite clearly enjoying Monica's company. As for Monica herself, she looks as radiant as ever. I approach her, move my hand down her arm, and squeeze her hand in my own. You look great.
Oh, stop!
My comment only succeeds in flustering Monica as she locks her finger. We stay like this for a bit before Mum speaks up once more.
So, before you lovebirds head out, how about a drink? That sounds great, thanks.
I wouldn't mind one, honestly. Thanks, Mum. The three of us end up mostly chatting about ourselves, stuff we've done, and how Monica and I met. Eventually, Monica starts to talk about how we got together. I can tell it's painting her to bring up the festival. Or it's paining her. Oh my god, Hallie. To bring up the festival again, but she presses on regardless, even reminding me that I gave her a reason to smile that day. Much like Sayori, Mum finds the whole situation really sweet. I've noticed that as she was talking about it, though, Monica started to hold my hand a little tighter. I can't tell if she's trying to stay strong for me, or if she's trying to put that day behind her. I'm sure she'll talk to me about it when the time's right. Don't want to pressure her. So, Moni, you want to head out now?
Yeah.
Monica looks towards Mum with a smile.
Thanks for having me over. No worries, hon. You're welcome to visit any time.
Both Monica and I then get up from the couch. We then head towards the door, and, after grabbing my jacket, head outside, letting Mum know we'll be back later. Once outside, Monica taps my shoulder. I turn to face her.
I just remembered that we never actually decided what we were doing besides going to town.
Monica gives a blush and a nervous laugh. I think to myself, did we really forget to go over that? Given how we get when we're texting, that that happening definitely seems plausible. Plausible spelled with an I. But one sec. I speak as I pull out my phone. I go through my text from last night. Dots. Yup, we forgot. I slide my phone back in my pocket and look back to Monica. Yeah, about that. Monica's gaze fixes back onto me, seemingly expectant. Maybe we don't necessarily need a plan? We could always make it up on the spot? Monica closes her eyes, presumably thinking over what I said. Great, first date with Monica, and first date in general, and I'm already making an ass of myself.
Honestly, as someone who gets by schedules for the most part of the year, or goes by schedules, that sounds perfect.
Monica's delight gets a smile out of me, but nowhere near as bright as hers. I take her and take her. Let's head off then. With that, the pair of us set off. I think I've got some ideas for today. Just hope that Monica likes them. Man, I've been trying to get a burp out for several pauses now, and it just won't go. Every time it's ready, it just doesn't go. We decided to take a bit of a slower walk, eventually making it into town. Given that it's Saturday, it's a lot busier than the other times we've visited here. But at the same time, it's not overly busy either, almost like the perfect in-between. I gaze up at all the signs. There's so many places to choose from. It's almost overwhelming. Thankfully, my eyes eventually fixate on one sign in particular. I stop in my tracks, Monica taking notice not long after.
You okay, Hallie?
Yeah, it's just... My grip on Monica's hand slips as I walk towards the store window. My eyes scan the various record sleeves that decorate the shelves. It's just that places like this remind me of my dad. When I was younger, we'd always go vinyl shopping on weekends. Ever since I stopped myself short. I just started occasionally buying records just to keep his memory alive. I feel Monica's head rest on my shoulder. In response, I wrap my arm around her. Sorry. Were there more words there? It looked like something blinked by. I
Oh, Hallie, you don't have to apologize. Like, I remember when he passed. You were devastated. Devastated. I just wish I could have actually done more to comfort you back then.
Monica then wraps her arm around me. There's a moment of silence between us. There's something poetic about this moment to me, though. At the start of the week, I was comforting Monica. Near the end of the week, those roles have switched. Not that I'm complaining, though. I'm thankful that she's doing this. Monica soon speaks up again.
How about we do it together?
I look right into those beautiful eyes of hers. I love that. With Monica grabbing hold of my hand again, the pair of us head inside. Upon entering, we're immediately engrossed by the warm atmosphere of the store. The very realistic store. It's a welcome departure from the streets, albeit a temporary one. Monica follows me around the aisles. Aisles? A-I-S. A bit, her eyes sparkling in wonder. We eventually stop in the section dedicated to dance music. In most record stores, this section in particular always had me feeling the most nostalgic. It's just something about the music itself. I guess there was a part of me that was always influenced by it, even if I didn't realize it sometimes. As I look to my side and notice Monica's already going through the records. A certain sleeve's label then catches my eye. Could I just get that one sec?
Of course.
I point at the sleeve and Monica gets it out for me. It's a yellow sleeve emblazoned with a roulette wheel, unlined with the name of their label, Roulette. On the left-hand corner, the artist and track name are displayed proudly. Stardust, music sounds better with you. Hey, the name of the song kinda reminds me of you.
Oh, how so?
I remember my second day at the club. Remember my second day at the club, he asked?
I do, yeah. And the track you played me.
Yeah, about that. I know I said I was thinking about scrapping it, but after you said you dug it, I gave it a bit of time to grow on me. And I've worked on it quite a bit since then. I guess I could say, the music sounds better with you. Why did I just say that? Because it's corny and adorable.
I know that sounds like overly cheesy. But coming from you, it's actually pretty cute.
I can't help but be a bit flustered by that words. Smiling, I rest the record under my arm. Let's see what else we can find. Maybe we could listen to them together when we head back to mine. I say that without even knowing if Monica is gonna be coming over after we're done at town.
I think I'd like that.
After grabbing 3 more records and paying for them, Monica and I head out. After some more walking, Monica ended up finding somewhere she wanted to check out. I went to go in with her, but she said she wanted to keep it a surprise. Judging by the tone of her voice, she knows what she's doing. Either that, or I need to get my mind out of the gutter. Out the gutter, rather. Yeah, it's probably that one. 5 minutes pass, me just biding my time, scrolling through my phone until I feel a light tap on my shoulder. Slightly taken aback, I turn to see who tapped me.
Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you.
It's fine, Yuri. I just didn't see you there is all. Out of everyone I expected to bump into today, Yuri certainly wasn't one of them. Say, how come you're out here?
The newest book in the series on released yesterday. I would have picked it up then, but I didn't have the time.
Yuri smiles nervously, averting her eyes to meet the pavement. Admittedly, that question came off a little more direct than I had intended. Yuri audibly exhales and takes a few steps closer to me.
I'm assuming you're here with Monica, right?
I nod. Yeah, she's just getting something. She says a surprise. Yuri starts to timidly play with a loose part of her lavender hair.
My, you're moving awfully fast, don't you think?
Paired with the look she suddenly gives me, it doesn't take me long to click onto just what it is she's trying to imply. That's certainly one hell of a conclusion to jump to, isn't it? Either way, I stammer a bit as I try to deny Yuri's assertion. Well, I mean, you just said your mind was in the gutter, too. No, it's not like that. You don't know what it's like. As unsure as I am as to exactly what Monica's getting, I'm fairly certain it's nothing remotely lewd. Yuri giggles gently.
Don't worry, Hallie, I'm only teasing you.
She said something else. Goodness. You gotta slow him down with her this long, man.
Although I wouldn't exactly blame her for that.
Yuri?
Yes?
Yuri averts her eyes once more, though a small smile remains etched on her lips. Despite her whispering, the current quietness of the streets made it easier for me to hear what she said. As to why she said that, I'm honestly at a loss for ideas. She clearly knows I'm with Monica, so why would she say that of all things? In my silence, I hardly notice that Yuri has inched herself ever so closer to me. It's honestly making me slightly uncomfortable. I go to say something, but thankfully I don't need to.
Hey, Yuri. Monica, I was just...
Well? Okay, she just took a breath. Yuri scurries off, looking completely embarrassed. I breathe a sigh of relief, something that causes Monica to give me a look of concern.
Hallie, you all right?
It seems like she can tell that something's off with me. Yeah, it's just... My voice trails off. Monica then rests her bag next to her legs and takes hold of both my hands.
Did Yuri say anything to you?
I can't hide that Yuri's behavior didn't get to me, even it was a little bit. If it was a little bit? Plus, would I really lie to Monica? I take a deep breath. Well, she didn't say much, but she did keep getting closer to me. I didn't know if she was gonna try anything, but I can't be too sure. Monica remains silent for a moment.
Can you promise me something, Hallie?
I nod, noticing Monica tensing slightly.
If she does try anything, come to me first. I'll try to let this slide for now, but I'll keep an eye on her. I just want to make sure you're okay.
Seeing her smile again is enough to ease my mind. It sounds cliché, but her smile is one that I want to protect. I squeeze Monica's hands a little bit. Anyways, let's not let that ruin today. You want to choose somewhere else to go?
Of course.
We then continued our date, enjoying each other's company more than more. We ended up spending the next few hours in town. Aside from the occasional store visit and getting something to eat, we spent most of the day just walking around and taking in the scenery. After how hectic this week started, it was certainly a nice change of pace. As planned earlier, we listened to the 4 records I bought, sitting together on the floor with Monica, resting her head on my shoulder. There weren't any words between us as the music played, just a brisk, peaceful silence. Eventually, the final track plays out and I move to sit on my bed. Monica then joins me and I rest my arm over her shoulder.
Thanks for today, Hallie. I really enjoyed myself.
I give her shoulder a slight shake and a rub. I should be thanking you, Monica. Like, to be completely honest, I was really nervous about today. I mean, it was the first date I have ever been on, and a little part of me was worried about fucking it up. But you letting me be my weird self, you putting up with my dreadful jokes, all of it just helps me feel a bit more confident in myself.
Hallie, You never have to be worried about being yourself around me. You being you is what I like about you. Well, I actually like a lot about you.
Monica falls silent as the familiar feeling of my cheeks burning up makes itself known once more. She eventually rests her arm over my shoulder, much like I'm doing to her. She turns back to face me.
Say, you remember how I told you I wanted to ask you out a while ago?
I do, yeah. Monica's gaze diverts from mine as her cheeks redden and her lips adopt a knowing smile. It's a smile that causes me to stammer slightly. Monica?
This is something else that I've wanted to do for a while as well.
Without another word, Monica pulls herself up to meet my face and presses her lips against mine. At the point where I'd most expect my heart to try burst out of my chest, it doesn't. In a way, this feels completely natural to do. I pull her closer to me, causing the seal between our lips to tighten. In unison, we move our heads to the side, trying to better display our shared passion. I can feel Monica resting her hand on my leg, but even then my breathing is steady. Whether or not either of us are any good at kissing, it doesn't detract from the moment itself. Though that being said, Monica is a wonderful kisser. I do go to pull away from the kiss for a second, only for Monica to pull me back in. It's clear she wants to savor this moment for as long as possible. To be honest, so do I. If someone had told me that I'd one day end up like this, I would have more than likely said you were lying. For the first time in a while, I'm more than happy to be wrong. Eventually, though, we do pull away and just stare into each other's eyes, smiling brightly.
Hope that was worth the wait.
I pull Monica into a tight embrace. I love you so much.
I love you too.
We remain in each other's arms for a little while longer. I can't help but smile whenever we're like this. I'd stay like this forever if I could. But, much like the first time we held each other, time isn't on our side. Hey, you should probably start heading home before it gets too late. I speak with a slightly downcast tinge to my voice.
I know.
My downcast mood isn't lost on Monica, even seemingly being reflected by her. I place my hand on Monica's cheek, causing her to smirk. I'll see you out.
Okay.
Monica and I head downstairs, both of us silently wishing we could have more time together. I've got a good feeling that we will get more time soon. We're still a relatively new couple after all. Monica tells me that she'll text me as soon as she gets home. After one final quick kiss, she departs and I'm left feeling even happier than the day we first got together. I lean against the wall smiling to myself. I just had my first kiss. Of all people, Monica certainly sets the bar high.
It's nice seeing you this happy, Hallie.
Huh? I look up and see Mom standing there.
Seeing you and Monica together earlier, you seemed genuinely happy with her. It kind of reminds me of how your dad and I were when we first met.
Mom gives me an earnest smile. Is earnest spelled without an A in Britain? It's nice to see that she still has fond memories of me. Then again, it's nearly been 2 years since his passing.
He'd be proud of you. He really would.
Thanks, Mom. I smile back at her. I'm gonna head upstairs for a bit. I'll be down later.
Tell Monica I said hi.
Mom goes off to the living room and I head upstairs. I don't know why she briefly disappeared there. I then spent the next 10 or so minutes waiting for Monica to get home. All the while I'm reflecting on the events of today. I got to spend even more time with Monica than I'd ever expected to. Things got a little too close for comfort with Yuri. But on top of that, Monica and I had our first kiss. I can't say for Monica, but I know that is going to be one memory that I hold on to for as long as I can. Things can only get better from here, right? I really hope so. Besides, with Monica by my side, I'm confident we can take on anything together. But, as with most things in life, only time will tell if that proves itself to be true. Hey there, Hallie. Best Pawn 3 here. But you can just call me Callum. Caleb? I hope you enjoyed the demo for Ducky Dig Within. Making this mod has been something I've been wanting to do for some time, but I was always looking for something to inspire me. After playing mods like Exit Music, Our Time, and Fallen Angel, as well as DDLC Plus reminding me why I loved this game, it just gave me the courage to try it out. Words were taken away from me. First of all, I'd love to.
Caleb, do you really need to take any more of Hallie's time?
Hey, Monica. I was just going to tell them who I want to thank for helping with the mod so far, like Soviet Spartan for giving me his permission to use the casual outfits he designed for you, and Stormplays76 for those amazing CGs. You know? Just little things like that.
But you've already kept them here for who knows how long. I'm pretty sure they want to have a break now.
But,
Cal,
fine, I'll put it as a text file.
good. I'll be on my way. I'll see you whenever, Hallie.
Full credits and thanks are in a text file in the game directory. Expect a full release some point in 2022. Alrighty, well I guess that's what exists of Doki Doki Within for now. Oh boy. With it being inspired by Eggs of Music and Fallen Angel, I'm kind of fearful for what's going to happen to you, Yuri, but I guess we'll see where they go with it. That's going to do it for now. Having a real hard time telling whether, like, the typos I'm detecting are due to British English or just consistently made typos. I guess the developer would know better than that, being the British speaker here, but, like, just watch out for those things I pointed out, I guess, and fix the ones that are definitely wrong. But, in the meantime, that's going to do it for this. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you next time with more Doki Doki. Hope to see you then. Bye-bye!